Amiga, do you ever feel caught between two worlds? You cherish your cultural background, but sometimes it clashes with the realities of raising a family in modern America. You might feel pressured to fulfill traditional expectations, yet you crave a life that allows you to be your true, authentic self. If you're a Latina mom nodding your head right now, I see you and I get it. Balanced Motherhood is more than your average mommy coaching program. It's a supportive comunidad designed specifically for you. I understand the unique challenges you face navigating between generations and culturas while forging your own path as a mama. Stop feeling like you have to choose between your roots and your future. Balanced Motherhood empowers you to create a life that celebrates your heritage, embraces your motherhood journey, and prioritizes your own happiness. Spots are limited. Don't miss out on this opportunity to connect with a supportive community and create a more balanced life. Visit the link in the show notes to join the waitlist for the next Balanced Motherhood cohort. I can't wait to meet you. Hola, hola, amiga. So last episode, we talked about embracing your new identidad as a mommy. Well, today we're diving deeper into building your support system and finding that balance as a mama. There are many resources out there about building your own support system, whether if it's online or through social media. However, we often do not know how to utilize a support system that is literally in front of us. And so on this episode, we will talk a little bit more about how we can build our own support system and using traditional methods that not only will allow us to embrace our cultura, but to also add that into our full supportive network that can help us in our journey of motherhood. And so I'm very excited to talk to you all about this because it is so important as we are all trying to find balance as mamás. So no te lo pierdas. Welcome to the Viva la Mami podcast. I am your host, Jessica Cuevas. I am a mother of two on a mission to help redefine the meaning of motherhood as a modern Latina mom. Motherhood can be a complex journey, interwoven in two identities that often make us feel ni de aquí ni de allá. Viva la Mami is committed to providing you with knowledge, tools, and support to navigate the challenges and triumphs of motherhood as Latina moms. On the show, we'll be discussing culturally relevant topics that will help inform and empower you in whichever season you are in on your motherhood journey. We'll be joined by Latina moms, experts and professionals who can offer advice, practical tips, relatable stories, and honest conversations. So bring your cafecito as I invite you to be a part of this space as we create comunidad about the exciting and challenging parts of being a mommy. Ahora, vámonos. As Latinas, we all come from such a rich culture that often places a lot of emphasis on motherhood. There can be a lot of pressure to be this sort of super mama who does it all perfectly, who cleans and cooks for everyone, who is trying to make their kids look a certain way because then she's going to feel judged if she doesn't keep them clean and she doesn't keep them well fed, and maintaining and holding down a job that oftentimes as Latinas, we're not even paid for what we are worth. Here's the thing though. As much as we've seen perfectionism in this image of what a Latina mom should be, you don't have to do it all. And it is so important that we set boundaries because it is healthy. So let's talk about ways to break free from these unrealistic expectations. And that way you can be happy and be a present mama. One of the things that I've learned through my motherhood journey is that we often feel pressured to uphold these traditions. And some of these traditions could be as little as having the house clean. I'm pretty sure that you can relate to this because all the time when I've listened to mujeres platicando and chismeando and everything, I would always hear them say, ay, pero es una mujer muy sucia. Like, what? Or I would hear them praise la mujer limpia. And so it's very interesting to me that as mujeres, first of all, and as mamás, when we know that the struggle is real as moms, that it is so hard to balance everything to make sure that our kiddos are alive, really. It is appalling to me that mujeres are talking crap behind other mujeres' backs. And this is obviously not just a cultural thing. I mean, this happens across all different identities, cultures, ethnicities. I don't know. I don't know why moms, I don't know why women, specifically moms, bash on other moms on the way that they present themselves, on the way that they parent, on the way that they do things. Like, we just need to stop because that adds so much pressure on the victim or the one who is targeted. And really, this already sets an expectation and this sort of standard on who we should be and how we should present ourselves or whatnot. This really bugs me a lot when women in our community talk crap about other women on how they should have their household. And we really need to think about that because you never know what happens behind closed doors. More than likely, there is a mom who is struggling like hell. Maybe she hasn't been diagnosed with ADHD, or maybe there's a mama who's working her butt off to make ends meet. Maybe there's a mama who is so flustered and has so much on her head that she cannot focus. Or maybe there's a mama who just doesn't give a crap and just wants to leave her house the way it is because she is entitled to. That adds so much pressure to uphold traditions, to make sure that we have a clean house when we never know the true story. And so when we're really talking about redefining motherhood here at Viva la Mami, I want you to really think what you want out of your motherhood experience. What type of mom do you want to be, considering your cultural background, considering your identity, considering the current world and society that we live in? And so think about that blend with your own vision of motherhood. Maybe you incorporate some of your family's traditions into your parenting style. For example, if storytelling is such a big part of your upbringing, you could start a bedtime routine reading bilingual books with your little one. You do not have to uphold the traditional methods or the traditional ways that we grew up. And so really think about, okay, how am I going to have this sort of fusion of like old school methods, but also my own version of the way that I want to parent or the way that I want to present myself in front of my partner or in front of my children. And so remember that there's no one size fits all approach to motherhood. You define what being a mommy really means to you, and especially at your current season of motherhood. Right now, you may be really busy, perhaps breastfeeding your child, and that is all what you're doing right now, just making sure that your baby is fed. But know that later on, through the next chapter of your season, there will come another version of motherhood as well, where you're not going to have to hold your baby all the time to feed them. The same way as we evolve, the same way our approach to motherhood will be as well. Considering all of this, right? And considering your own definition of motherhood. And based on what you want out of your motherhood journey, how do we really build this support system? And let's face it, raising a child is no small feat. You need a village, okay? And that is something that I want you to really utilize when we're talking about traditional methods, is that in the Latina community, we have that strong identity of comunidad. We know that we can lean into our community, and this doesn't necessarily have to be blood related family. It could be your kin. It could be your network of folks that you know that you can count on them for anything. And that is just us. We depend on each other. We lean on each other. And for many of us, like for myself, as a second generation Latina, we oftentimes default to mainstream culture, and that is the American culture, this culture of individualism. However, considering where our roots come from, our people depended on each other. They depended on comunidad, on familiarismo. And so when considering this aspect, we should really lean in on our village when we become mamas. It is so important to build this strong support system that reflects not just your cultural background, but also the way that you want to mother as well. So, one of the things that I really want you to consider when we're talking about old school traditions is you can lean on your family and friends, both close by and those back home. Technology makes it so easy than ever to stay connected with loved ones who are far away, but also take advantage to the ones that are near you. And one of the things that I really wanted to implement when considering my cultura was la cuarentena. La cuarentena is such a beautiful experience because you literally are pampered for the first 40 days after baby is born. And as modern women, I would say, in this country, first of all, there are systems in place that don't allow us to take 40 days. And I recognize that. Some women, unfortunately, have to go back to work after 12 days after giving birth. But if you are in a position where you can stay longer with baby, you want to make sure that you take advantage of the women who are with you. This could be your mama, your abuela, your tias, your sisters, your amigas, whoever it is when it comes to your friends and family. Explain to them, hey, I want to do la cuarentena. This is something that our people utilized back in the day, and this is something that I want to do. Or even if it's 2 weeks that you are only able to be with bebé, you can definitely do a mini version of la cuarentena where people cook for you, where they take care of the baby. All you have to do is probably lay down, breastfeed them, and move on to the next thing. Or if you just want to bond with baby, that is totally okay. But let's say if you have older kids, maybe have abuelita take the older child or children to the park. And so there are many ways in which we can utilize the help, especially once our babies are born. In addition, you may want to also utilize online communities. There are amazing online communities specifically for us as Latina women. These can be a great source of advice, support, and comadrehood as well. For example, I joined the Chicago Latina Moms Facebook group page ever since I found out I was pregnant. Because first of all, it was in the pandemic when I was pregnant of Diego, my first. And I was like, I need to find other Latina moms where we can compartir all of these different aspects of our journeys. And through this particular Facebook group, any kind of question that I asked, people would respond. And these are very specific to our identity as Latinas. If you have a Facebook account, I encourage you to search Facebook groups that are specifically to your identity. There's so many affinity-based Facebook groups out there where you can literally build comunidad together. The other support system that I really want you to consider is professional help. I cannot stress this enough, and I cannot say this enough on this podcast. Don't be afraid to seek professional help if you need it. And you may need help, whether if it's a therapist who specializes in the Latina experience. It could also be a doula if you are pregnant, or if you want to have support with the postpartum journey. You can hire a cleaning service if you know that you're going to be judged because you have la casa sucia. Okay. Like, it is okay. You can get professional help for that. I'm giving you my full permiso to just hire cleaning service for you to focus back on yourself. Okay. So sometimes talking to either a third party person or getting the help professionally makes such a world of a difference. That way you create this balance, not just for your family, but also for yourself. So here's the key, mamas. Learn to ask for help. I cannot stress this enough. We are not supposed to do it all because it is totally okay to ask for help. So mamas, let's talk about building your support system and finding balance. If in case you haven't found that yet, know that Balanced Motherhood will be a safe space for you to connect and build comunidad with other Latina moms, and you will build a supportive system for you to find balance. So if you are interested in learning more about Balanced Motherhood, you can go to my website, which is www.vivalamami.com/balanced-motherhood. That is balanced with a D -motherhood. I'm also going to share a link in the show notes. That way you can click on it and it can take you directly to the website. Doors will open soon for you to sign up for this 3-month coaching program. And so join the waitlist if you want to learn more and to be the first ones to join this coaching program. Let me know, what kind of support system are you going to build? And this doesn't necessarily mean to those that are just having a baby. This can be anyone at any time during your own motherhood journey. Okay. So let me know what kind of support system you're going to build via DMs on Instagram. That way I am here for you and I'll cheer for you. And I am very excited that you are utilizing your support system. So that way you can have this better balance between yourself and you as a mama. All right, mujer. Well, thanks for tuning in and I'll see you in the next episode. Mujer, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen to the Viva la Mami podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, will you do me a favor and follow the podcast and leave a rating and review? Hitting that follow button and reviewing my show will allow other mommies like you find this podcast. Your review will also tell me if you enjoy the show, so I would truly appreciate your thoughts. Don't forget, please share this podcast con tus amigas. Also, make sure to follow me at Viva la Mami on Instagram or visit vivalamami.com. Please note the information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as professional advice. Okay, mujer, thank you for joining y nos vemos in the next episode.